Welcome to our community. Susie Thomas visiting with our friend Terry Hunka from the Martin Center. Good morning.
Good morning. How you doing?
Doing great. Thanks for being here. And
my pleasure.
Thanks for stepping in last minute because we really want to let people know about a very special event happening.
Well, yeah, we got this little thing coming up here in a couple days and, could use some more help. And so that's kind of what we're doing here today.
That's what's important. So remind me what this is and what you need.
Remind you? Mm-hmm. I think you know all about it. I think you've been talking about it for quite a while now.
Pretend I don't.
You know, the cool thing is it's called a Family Christmas Eve. And share the warmth. I better get that tagline in there or somebody's going to get upset.
Since that's the email or the website.
Between 1 and 4 o'clock on Christmas Eve, we're inviting all the homeless, all the down and outers, all the people that need some assistance at this time of the year to come to the Martin Center. And we will feed them. If they need a shower, we'll let them take a shower. We'll give them some clothes. We have coats and scarves and hats and gloves and all those kind of things to give out. We're even going to provide some haircuts and stuff. So, I mean, it's going to be a great event. We're kind of tag teaming with the Anchor House. Mm-hmm. They've done it for the past, 2 or 3 years and have had great success. They've outgrown where they were at. And so they said, hey, can we do this at the Martin Center? And we're more than happy to oblige. So,
well, I think what's really great, too, is that this brings everybody indoors because at least we know for those hours on Christmas Eve day, people are going to have a roof over their heads and they'll be warm. And let's not skim over that too quickly. You said they can get showers at the Martin Center. How is this happening?
Well, of course, the Martin Center is an old school building. So with an old school building, we have a gymnasium. With a gymnasium, we have locker rooms, and with locker rooms, we have showers.
That's awesome.
So, we're gonna provide those. Just come. You don't have to bring your soap or your shampoo or anything like that. We'll provide the towels and everything, but it's just a way to. I think restore some dignity, restore some self-esteem, and so we're more than happy, more than happy. We're thrilled.
That's only one of the services, and that's a big one. That's huge. I love that the day is divided up kind of into 3 parts. There are goods and items that people need that they'll be able to get. We'll talk about those. There are other services. You mentioned showers and haircuts. Maybe let's talk about some of the other services that families can actually receive while they're there.
Well, if we're talking families, let me stop you right there because Santa Claus is going to be there.
Okay, stop right there then.
It doesn't get any better
That's
than
all
that.
We need.
No, Santa Claus will be there. And, again, we're talking people less fortunate or people that are having a little bit of a struggle at this time. What a great way to let the kids play on Santa's lap and tell him, exactly. So, that's just one of the services to me that's right here, right up top.
Yeah.
And we're happy to do that. We'll also have some barbers there. I understand there'll also be some, what's a lady hairstylist called?
A hairstylist.
Okay, well, good. And I'm smarter than I think I am. But anyways, they'll be there. I hear there might be some nail painting going on.
Nail stylists as well.
Oh, nail stylist. Okay.
I don't know, I made it up.
And it sounds like it. Okay. And just lots of stuff like that. Again, you know what? We need, as society, to pamper those that are having a tough time right now.
And people who've been out on the street often don't have an opportunity for health care. What's available in that way?
You know what? It's going to be awesome. We're going to have a medical clinic. There, we'll be able to take blood pressures. We'll be able to check your meds and help you with, some of that. Make sure you're taking your meds and have availability to them. And just, we'll have a room set up. And if, you'd like to get checked out or you'd like maybe some specialized attention, we can try to see if we can help you with that.
Now, a lot of times, and we kid about being excited, and I truly am excited that Santa's going to be there. But we really, we know Christmas is about Jesus, and
Absolutely.
people will not receive the gospel until they are warm and fed and clothed. And you start with those basics. It's kind of what you're doing here, isn't it?
Well, that's kind of been our philosophy at Child Reach Ministries, who is the parent organization of the Martin Center. That's been our mantra since we were actually 14 years ago.
Wow.
This month, we became a 501c3. Isn't that weird?
Yes.
But anyway, it's kind of been our mantra. You know what? Let's help those less fortunate. Let's do what we can. And you can't share Jesus, like you said, without filling their stomachs, without meeting some of their physical needs. One of the things that we did was we go to third world countries and stuff like that, and it's the same down there as it is here. If you can't meet the physical needs, they're not going to listen to you about Jesus.
I remember something you said years ago that really stuck with me. I'm sure it was you. You said, grumbling stomachs have no ears.
Right. That's right.
That's an amazing sentence when you think about it. And honestly, you're not ready to receive that until your basic needs are met.
You know what? A lot of these people are worried about where their next meal is going to come from, or how they're going to sleep safely tonight, or stuff like that. And it's not just in Canton. I'm talking people less fortunate all over the world. They've got other things on their minds. So the last thing they're thinking about is, do I look pretty, or do I smell good? Or, whatever. They have bigger things to worry about than that. And it even goes to, do I know Jesus? That's something that they just, unfortunately, because we know better, but unfortunately, that's really one of the last things they think about.
I know last year, people who attended and went through having all these services done for them, getting their hair done, their nails done, getting some clean clothes and so forth, we're so excited to be able to go to church that night then and go to Christmas Eve service that night,
right,
and feel really good.
Yeah, absolutely. It's like I referred to earlier. It's a self-esteem thing. It's, feeling good about yourself. It's feeling good about, you can radiate that. If you take a shower and put on a new outfit and you go to church and stuff, how good do you feel?
And you're ready to listen then.
Yeah, absolutely. And so that's all we want to do is help people feel comfortable, feel good about themselves, and just, kind of celebrate the season.
Okay, so far we've covered services, some of the services that are going to be provided. There's also different items that are going to be made available to all the folks. Can we talk about some of those things, with the things they'll be able to get there?
Okay, I think hygiene items are going to be there and are going to be available to them. Clothing, winter clothing, as well as some other clothing. Maybe some summer stuff or some lightweight kind of stuff.
Because layering is kind of important, isn't it?
Layering is very important. Yeah, it's actually the best way to keep warm. Everybody thinks, if I keep on this big old parka, and stuff, then I'll be warm. But not so. If you layer, that's been proven because of the air or whatever in between the layers and stuff. It tends to insulate. So, coats and hats and boots and gloves and, all those kind of things.
Of every possible size.
Yes, absolutely.
Children, adults.
From children all the way up. Absolutely.
Some of the things that are harder to get our heads wrapped around, but that they are asking for, are sleeping bags, some mats that could go on the floor, like yoga mats that can go on the ground, and tents. You want to talk about that a little bit?
Well, these are just some of the staples. We have our house. We have our beds. We have, so we're just asking to if you could help us provide these for those that don't have a home right now. And, the ground is awful cold this time of year to be sleeping on. And so if you can provide a mat, some kind of insulation between the body and the cold ground, that would be awesome. Tents, if you can provide some shelter for the weather, And of course, sleeping bags. Nowadays, they're making those sleeping bags to, if it's 20 below, you're warm as can be in some of those sleeping bags. So, we're trying to provide as many of those to as many that need them. And so if you could even drop them off to the Martin Center or something, it's getting to the last minute, so we can't go through proper channels, or we can't put them in.
Just bring them on down.
Just bring them on down. Yep.
We'll handle it.
And the address to the Martin Center is 1253 3rd Street Southeast. It's the old Martin Elementary School, for those of you that remember that. But if you can bring it down, particularly in the afternoon, we'll be glad to take them and make them available.
Being a place that serves families, but particularly youth in the Southeast Canton area, what do you see as far as needs and homeless and teenagers? Well,
unfortunately, we see a lot of teens that don't know where they're going to spend the night tonight. And that's hard for some of us to get our heads around, but it's true. We talk about couch surfing. A lot of our kids and a lot of kids in Canton are couch surfers, and so they're not counted among the homeless because they're not technically homeless, although they've been thrown out or they've gotten in trouble or they, one reason or another. They don't have a place to sleep. One of the sad things, Susie, that I've found out is that a lot of women have babies and then they get remarried for whatever reason. That marriage fails or that relationship fails, and they get remarried, and then that guy just doesn't really want to accept the children from a previous relationship or marriage. And so they're very quick to abuse. They're very quick to keep stuff from them, basic things like food and shelter and stuff like that. And then at the first little conflict comes, get out of my house. Get out of my house. And now, where does a 13, 14, 15, 16-year-old kid go?
One of the things you've done is partner with PAL Mission.
Absolutely.
And you do have an answer for some of them. Let's talk about that.
Absolutely. Across the street from the Martin Center is a place called the Clifford Campus House, and it is operated by PAL Mission, and it's a place where kids that run away, I believe they have to be 13 to 17, but if they run away, if they get kicked out, if they find themselves in need for whatever, they're always there. They're always ready to accept kids that come and ready to help them.
I think it's so interesting, and PAL Mission being one of the great services housed within the Martin Center under your roof and under that whole umbrella. To recognize that where they began serving young people who were aging out of foster care,
right.
Realizing that there are just so many homeless teenagers, period. Who knew?
Right.
And so this has become, would you call it an epidemic because of what our culture is going through right now?
Yeah, it very well could be called an epidemic. And the unfortunate thing is that a lot of cities, a lot of counties, a lot of states even turned a blind eye to the fact that we have kids in trouble and in turmoil and stuff. And, even sometimes they commit crimes just to get attention, just so they can get 3 squares and a cot.
Seriously, jail would look mighty good if
Absolutely.
You're living under a bridge
Absolutely.
And you're 14 years old.
And it's, 20 degrees outside,
and they wouldn't go to
worse.
Jail. They would go to the multi-county attention services or someplace like that, which at least is a roof.
Right.
And
right.
like you say, 3 square meals.
Right. So, and it's something that we're going to need to address as a nation, as a state, as a city. We're going to have to address in the very near future. There's agencies like PAL popping up every now and then, or every few places, few cities and stuff, but there's not enough.
I will never understand. Help me understand why they do the homeless head count in the winter. Because as you say, even those who are, you have no real home,
Right.
but you can find a couch to surf from home to home, someplace to stay,
Right.
and you don't get counted. So how do we get a true picture of what the situation is if we're counting people when we know we're not getting the full picture of it?
Yeah. I wish I had those answers. I really do, because I think we're failing as a society. We're failing. The Bible tells us that the poor will always be among us and stuff. So when are we finally going to wake up and go, well, if they're always going to be around us and they're always going to be part of our society, don't you think we should address it? We've done it with elderly people. We've done it with, young babies and stuff like that. But there's this gap. There's this teenager to young adult gap that doesn't get counted in statistics or doesn't get, the relief and the help that they need.
We are addressing part of it on Christmas Eve Day.
Yes, we are.
From, did you say 1 to 4?
1 to 4.
And at the Martin Center, we're going to find out more details after these words. You're listening to Our Community.